Morning. Yeah, it's still morning. Ah, good. All right. I had a bunch of verses I wrote down. I should have gotten myself ready before I turned on the camera, but I didn't. Ha! Well, I especially want to look at Job more, and I know I had. Didn't I have some more verses in Job I wanted to look at? Yeah, it's probably on that other note. But as I was uploading Numbers this week, I was uploading Numbers chapter 15, and there was a very interesting verse there. So I want to look at that really quick, but then we'll go back to Job and talk more about Job. Okay, so Numbers, so let's mark first. We're in Ruth, and I forgot to change the thing, so my bad on that. But anyway, Ruth takes place during the time period of Judges, so that's justified. But anyway, Numbers chapter 15, 39. Okay, I want you to think about this verse. And yeah, okay, let's read it first. Numbers 15:39. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart, and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring. And then let's just finish those last verses. That ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. I am the Lord your God. And then look at how that concludes that chapter, with reminding you about Egypt. And then Egypt is, they complain about, oh, we had leeks and mustard and ketchup and all that, the condiments. I could put ketchup on my fries. I want to go back to Egypt. I need ketchup. Did you know ketchup is like the worst thing for you? I'm finding out about this. It's like pure sugar. Did you know that? I mean, French fries are bad for you too, but the ketchup, which is usually what people will use on there, and this super attractive lady whispered that to me recently, by the way. I was there in the baking aisle where the ketchup is. Super attractive, like hospital nurse lady. I think she was Spanish or Arabic, I'm not sure. Very dark hair and like perfect face. It's ridiculous. And she takes this bottle of ketchup and she's like, I forget what she said now, but it was kind of seductive how she said it. She's like, I can't live without this, She's gorgeous, and it's like, oh yeah, can't live without your leeks and your onions and your ketchup. I don't know if it says ketchup in the Bible, but it would be kind of in that same category of adding something to something to make it taste better when God has already given you the fanciest food ever, this manna. This probably a fabulous food with all these nutrients in it, and it sustains you and keeps you alive perfectly, but you got to add ketchup and your condiments and all your garbage to it. But he's taking you out of Egypt. See how it has to do with that? But your heart is like, oh, I need ketchup. I need all those extra things. I need this. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring. And see where my mind goes? My mind goes a-whoring after the super attractive Spanish lady. That's what I think of, you know. So that tells you right there that, but I'm catching myself. I know what my thinking, my heart, I know she's probably married. She's a nurse, and she's super attractive, and that's where my mind goes and my heart goes there. I know my thinking is horrible. I'm going a-whoring. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use that word on YouTube, but that's what it says there. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But what is that? You know, that's written there in Numbers. Usually people go to Numbers and they're like, this is boring. It's a bunch of numbers. I can't take this. And then they just skip that book. But that is a key verse there. And think about that. Think about your heart. And then, initially I went to Jeremiah yesterday before work, and I didn't have access to a computer or phone or anything, so I couldn't look up the exact verse. But I started looking at Jeremiah, because I knew there was an accompanying verse related to the heart. So I started to go into Jeremiah. Let's just repeat what I did last night or yesterday. And then when I got home from work, I did have access to internet, and I looked up the exact location of the verse I was thinking of, and it does exist, but I had to look it up in a YouTube video, and the guy was then going on his commentary about Old Testament versus New Testament, saved and unsaved, how a saved person approaches this verse, and how you should think about it. And I think you should approach both the Old Testament in Numbers and in the New Testament, and anywhere you're going, really. I think you should be approaching it from the perspective that my heart, I think you should be careful regardless of where your state of mind or where you think you are with God. I think there's a warning there, you know. Whether you're saved or unsaved, your heart, there's some big issue related to it that I think you should always have it in check, basically. That's how I'm approaching it, you know. But this video was like, well, if you're already saved, you can just ignore this verse because clearly you're saved already, and you don't, you know, you can do whatever you want and you're still saved, and I shut the video off because it's stupid. So, but at least I located the verse in Jeremiah 17. But let's bumble through where I was yesterday, which was Jeremiah. I think in the first chapter they mention it a little bit, but particularly in chapter 3, because I was rambling through and I was looking for the verse, but I couldn't find it, and I was, you know, but when I got home, then I found that 17. So we'll go to 17 in a second here, but I mean, this has to do with it, basically. What did we just say in Numbers? Whoredoms? Or a-whoring. A-whoring, and now we're looking at whoredoms. So, see, it's connected. See, I'm a prostitute for those nurses. Man. and their ketchup. What is wrong with me? They say if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. Yet return again to me, saith the Lord. This is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. Now we're in verse 2. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places. The high places. That's another connecting. See? There it is. And see where thou hast not been lain with. In the ways hast thou sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there hath been no latter rain, and thou hadst a whore's forehead. A whore's forehead. Thou refusedst to be ashamed. Wilt thou not from this time cry unto me, My Father, thou art the guide of my youth? Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things, as thou couldest. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. There it is again with those high places. That's key in relation to that, right? Not only in the symbolic sense, but in the actual location. It's an actual place where they did that. And they did all these rituals and stuff. And sex orgies and bad stuff. But also in the you know, like there's two places where that where that's in relation that I can think of. That's at the end of Habakkuk, and also at the end of 2 Samuel, David's speech there in 2 Samuel 21 or 22. Both of those spots mention those high places. And David, that's right at the end of 2 Samuel, he's handing the power over to Solomon. So, you know, David, in talking about high places there, I think that's an indicator right there of he knew something about his heart and what it was capable of, you know. What did he do? Remember, he looked at Bathsheba on that rooftop, you know. And where did his heart go, and what did he do then as a result of that? Interesting, right? It's a good warning to us. But at the end of his reign there, at the end of 2 Samuel, it's an indicator there of being aware of what we're capable of and how we can give in to that, those high places and sin and different issues in our lives, you know. It's amazing. And backsliding. And there hath played the harlot. 7. And I said after she had done all these things, Turn thou unto me. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, saith the Lord. And my coworker has been saying this lately, that yes, it's possible that God can turn us around and make us turn back the right way, back to Him, but do we deserve mercy from Him? Hasn't He already been merciful to us, like these past 70? Yeah, I mean, the lifetime of this nation, hasn't He been merciful to us? And now, even today, I was just saying to my brother, he was talking about something ridiculous that Donald Trump said in the news about flying cars. I know, ridiculous, but let's say God restores everything, gets rid of all these Satan monsters sucking us dry. What if you hand a flying car to one of my customers? Do you really think this is going to end well with some of my customers that I deal with and some of their behaviors and stuff and how they treat me and people? You hand a flying car over to a person that isn't even grateful for the thousands of dollars on an EBT card. You hand them a flying car. What do you think they're going to do with it? You think they're going to turn to God in repentance? Or you think they're going to become even more evil? I don't know. I mean, we could be at the end in this nation. We could be in our time of judgment approaching. We're not there yet, but it's scary to think about. Maybe I won't even get to Job today, but we'll keep this note. And then I have a lot of notes for Job. I've been reading through Job at work. "12. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, Return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Lord, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, saith the Lord, and I will not keep anger forever." And that's incredible, how merciful He is. And He could do very well what I'm saying, but think about that golden age with Solomon after David hands the kingdom to Solomon there. At the end of 2 Samuel, that speech by David is so incredible. And he mentions those high places right in there, and also at the end of Habakkuk. And then Solomon takes over with all that blessing, that golden age. And then how do people really recognize how blessed they are? Or does everything fall apart? And but it seems like everything falls apart, really. Nation splits, and civil war, and then they just slowly degrade, and they get picked apart by their enemies, and then ultimately get wiped out by Nebuchadnezzar in the end, right? Wonder if that's coming on us, if China is gonna take over around here and everywhere. I don't know. But see look what he's asking for, 13. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. He's saying it right there. The groves, the green tree, the orgies, the child sacrifices under green trees, the ritualistic scary stuff, but stuff that happened, and they're just adopting these pagan cultures. But look what he's asking for. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord. That's all he's asking you to do. That's all I'm, all these poor people, they're not doing well. They're suffering. They have their problems and everything. But do we really acknowledge how we have sinned against God in this nation? Do we really recognize that, or do we just say, this is a Christian nation, and we're righteous, and I know I do this, and I'm a good boy, and yeah, I love God, but who's Jesus? You know, read the Bible. Everybody knows that Bible's some made up mumbo jumbo. It would. Let me give you the comment on BitChute. I have all these people yelling at me on BitChute, on my other I got my other channel on BitChute, and these people are like, the Bible was written by the oligarchy to keep the peasants in check, you idiot. Maybe you believe in God, maybe you're righteous, you think you're righteous, you think you're a good American made, American. Maybe you think you're like that, and but then you look at the Bible in that respect like it's a joke. It's made by the oligarchy to keep the peasants in line. That's what you are. You're a dang peasant, and you just read that Bible because you obey, you loser. Yeah, I'm a good guy. I got rice piled up from 7 years in my fallout shelter over there. So, I'm a good guy. I'm righteous. American made. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. And this is what my coworker was bringing up. He was sounding like Job. I mean, he has a right to sound like Job, and I said that to him. Your arguments here, you sound a lot like Job. He has a right to sound like Job. Um, and I gave him the reversal. If you give in to the evil, what are you left with? Like, if I were to reject God now because of all the stuff going on, and I just become a Satanist, man, this is pleasant. You think about it, what all that has to offer with you. Yeah, money, but money and property and stuff, it has like responsibilities, and then that just occupies your whole life, and I think that sucks even worse. I think you'd be better off poor, or not poor, but satisfied. I think that's where God keeps you, not rich, not poor, but content. God keeps you content. Do I really need $10 million? Um, I jumped into too many points there and I lost my point. But my coworker is feeling like Job because he sees all this bad stuff going on. And I said to him, you getting excited? It's like, what? For the end of the world? Oh yeah, I'm excited. And I'm like, well, no, but you know, are you excited for, well, potentially, okay, if it's the end of the world, well, Christ is coming back. Christ is going to crush all these scum. So, and he's going to get you out of here to say, is this your home? You accept that satanic stuff, you're going to hell. Is this your home right now? Or is your home with him? And where is your heart really at? I don't even think I got to the verse I wanted to Pastors. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. According to his heart. "17. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord." See, it perfectly leads into it, because that's what I was talking about. Is this your home? No, it isn't. He is your home. He is your end. He is the goal. He is the standard. And that's what this is referring to. This is referring to, the second advent. Yeah, it's right in the notes down there. Call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of the Lord, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. See, it just took me a half hour to get to it. Heart, there it is. And then I wanted to look at 17 now. Wow, there it is, 17:5. Well, there's a couple here. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart. This is verse 1 of 17 of Jeremiah. And upon the horns of your altars, whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, and thy high places, there it is, high places again, for sin throughout all thy borders. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I give thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. See? The heart. See? Anybody that tells you follow your heart, you got to be careful about that. Follow your heart. No. No. Because my heart has the tendency of looking at that Spanish, or I think she was Arabian. I don't know. Maybe Syrian. But your heart looks at that and you're like, wow. Catch up. Get away from me. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. That's another key verse right there. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? And shall not see when good cometh. Isn't that how people think today? Like, they don't even realize how blessed they are and how merciful God has been to us. And yet we still think like things are bad now. You have no idea what bad even is. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. And that guy challenging the Bible on BitChute, they don't trust the Lord, even though they probably think they're godly or righteous. They have some idea of God, but then they think the Bible is wrong because the Bible confronts them on sin. But they want a God tailored to them that conforms to their standards and their Americanism. You know? American made, American. I don't know. Could break into a stupid song. Isn't that some stupid song? Like, American work, American wear, American shoes. You know that? I think that is a song, but I'm not. I can't understand lyrics in music usually. You know, so I just come up with like American wear. Can't understand half these people because that's what it sounds like in my brain. I am kind of hard of hearing, so maybe that's my problem, but I can understand lyrics in musicals usually, but not in like rock music. Just sorry, I drank too much coffee today. But they want a God that this is an American God. My American God is a capitalist, and he makes 4.5% interest, and he makes sure I got 17 buckets of beans in the basement just in case. And I got 1,400 9mm rounds back there, and I'm ready to go. American made, American righteousness, American Jeep, American. But do they even realize what good is anymore? Or are they just prepping for, because I'm American. That's what Americans do. I'm ready for the apocalypse. Then when Russians get on my property, I'm going to blast them. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and in whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. Here it is. The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Question mark. I think I'll just leave you with that verse and say, think about that. You Americans, you think you're just so... Do you even recognize how rotten your thinking can be? How rotten my thinking can be? A lot of times. I know. I just kneel before God and thank God He is so merciful. Oh God, thank you. Just think about that verse. It's incredible. I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. You better be careful.